Good morning, everyone. My name is Yanfang Luo from Hong Kong Polytechnic University. And now I'm a PhD candidate, and I was also a visiting scholar at Purdue University. So today, my topic is investigating the neural correlates of different levels of situation values and work experience. So what is situation values? Situation values is the understanding of the environment and also the dynamic change of its element. So this is crucial for the worker because they need to identify the hazard in the dynamic construction site. Imagine now we are in the construction site. If we would like to recognize some hazard, the first step, we need to perceive the element in the construction site. The building, there's a machine, there's a worker, perceive the elements. The second step, we would like to comprehend this element. What is the relationship between the workers and the building? And whether the worker have some potential other things will affect the worker's behavior. And the third thing, we would like to project what will happen next. Whether the machine will hit the worker. Okay, based on these three steps, we will make some decision and also take action based on our cognitive process. So basically, these three steps are situation values, which is perception level 1, level 2 comprehension, and level 3 projection. So higher level of situation awareness depend on the lower levels. So if we would like to be successful or successfully recognize the hazard, every step, every level of situation awareness are necessary. But due to our human have limited attention and also our immature mental model, the accident may happen because the lapse of any level of the situation awareness. What does it mean? Imagine if we cannot see the hazard, right? We cannot see the element. Of course, we cannot have successful hazard recognition. Or if we see the hazard, but we do not understand the hazard because we do not have enough knowledge about this element. So we may also fail to recognize the hazard. And if we see the hazard, we understand, okay, dangers, but we don't think it will happen in the next step. Also, it will need to fail hazard recognition. So if we achieve higher level of the situation awareness, because it involves more complex cognitive process, such as when we would like to comprehend, when we would like to predict. So it involves more complex cognitive process. This complex cognitive process will involve some more neural activation in our brain in different brain region. And also various factors such as the work experience will affect the achieving and also the maintaining of situation awareness. So the prefrontal cortex is strongly associated with the working memory, decision making, and also the executive control, because this kind of complex cognitive behavior. So this happens in our prefrontal cortex. So it becomes a reliable indicator of achieving higher level of situation awareness. And some techniques such as the fNIRS, the functional near infrared spectroscopy, because it's a non-invasive and also a portable device, it can capture the neural activation in our brain. So how can it do it? It can capture the change of our oxygen level in our brain. So which means, okay, some part of our brain have more oxygen, it have more neural activation. So here come to our problem statement. The first thing is failure in any levels of situation awareness can result in unsuccessful hazard recognition. But there's a lack of the comprehensive investigation into the neural activation across different levels of situation awareness between the novice and experienced worker. So our aim is to review the pattern of the prefrontal cortex neural activation across various levels of situation awareness between the novice and experienced workers. Here come to our methodology. So our experiment design is that we select 4 common hazard type in the construction site, based on the OSHA database. We build 12 real scenarios based on these 4 common hazard types. And we recruit 33 participants with some civil engineering background. We group them into the novice and experienced group. So for the novice, they have NAS 0.5 year experience. For the experienced one, they have more than or equal to 2 years work experience. And when all the participants immerse in the VR environment, so they can freely explore the VR environment. They are going to decide the hazard by themselves. Then after a while, we will randomly stop the VR scenario. When we stop the VR scenario, they cannot see the hazard. They cannot see the VR environment, sorry. And after we stopped it, then we will ask them some SAGAT questionnaire. So this SAGAT free prose technique is help us to collect the answers of each level of situation values. So for example, like we'll ask in level 1, did you see the worker on the ladder? And in level 2, was the worker with some falling protection system? In level 3, do you think it will fall after this stop? So based on this kind of the data collection procedure, we will have some corresponding data. Of course, during the whole duration, they will wear the fNIRS device and also the VR device like the picture show. Then for the data, we will have the lowest and experienced individuals and also the number of participants in each level of situation values. Of course, the most important thing is the neural activation in the prefrontal cortex. Here, we separate it into the left prefrontal and also the right prefrontal. So why we do it? Because the left and right, they have different functions. For the left prefrontal cortex, it mainly associated with the semantic memory retrieval. It means it mainly focuses on recognize the specific details of the object. For example, the color, the size, the shape of the object. And for the right prefrontal, it is related to the episodic memory retrieval. For example, like the time, the space, some spatial awareness, and also it also represent the activation in some mental model. The mental model means it's related to the prior knowledge we have in our brain. Here comes to our result. For 33 participants, we have 23 novice participants and 10 experienced participants. And there is the numbers distributed in there is a sample size distributed in each level of situation values. So although we see the number, they may have a little bit different, but actually the percentage of the achieve each level of situation awareness is quite similar. So here come to our most important result, the brain activation among different level of situation values. Here we have 2 figures. The y-axis is the oxygen level concentration. The x-axis is each level of situation values. And we would like to introduce the left prefrontal cortex first. So in the left prefrontal cortex, the green color represents the lowest experience, lowest participant, and the orange represent the experienced participant. So we can see through the picture that in each level of situation values, the lowest participant have more activation in the left prefrontal cortex, but the experienced one has less activation. On the contrary, when we go to the right prefrontal cortex, so the lowest participant almost do not have more neural activation in the right prefrontal cortex, but the experienced one, they have continue to have activation in the right prefrontal cortex. So what does it mean? Because the left prefrontal cortex is related to some recognized specific details of the object, which means when the novice participant, they immerse in the real environment, they need to spend more cognitive effort in recognize, okay, here we have some building, we have some workers, we have some machine, the color, the shape, the location, they are in there because they are unfamiliar with the construction site. They need to spend more effort to get familiar with the construction site. But for the experienced worker, they know everything already familiar with. So when they enter into the VR environment, they do not need to spend more effort to recognize what is that, what's he, right? And then when it comes to achieving higher level of situation values, the lowest participant, they do not have prior knowledge, or they do not have mental model in their right prefrontal cortex. So they cannot activate in the right prefrontal cortex. But for the experienced participant, they already build this knowledge. So when they achieving higher level of situation values, they will have more activation in the right prefrontal cortex. So here come to our conclusion. The novice have more activation on the left, and the experienced have more activation on the right. This may indicate the novice participant may demand more cognitive effort to identify the related hazard due to they are unfamiliar with the construction site. But while the experienced one, they are already familiar with the construction site, so they have less activation. They also may miss some hazard due to they are less sensitive to the hazard stimuli. And also this implied the distinct cognitive patterns of hazard recognition between the novice and also the experienced participant. So our contribution is that we highlight the importance of the differentiating neural activation in different level of situation values for novice and experienced participant, and also provide some theoretical foundation for using the neural data for identify the causes of hazard recognition failure, and also provide some foundation for building the customized training programs. So here's a reference, and thank you for your time. And here also the related publication. If you feel any interest, you can check the related publication. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Yanfang. Excellent presentations. Do we have some questions from the audience? Yes, Borsin, there are microphones coming in the back.
Thank you for the nice presentation. So my question is, there could be a lot of confounders here, specifically when it comes to VR experience. So how did you control the VR experience? That's one part of the question, because the more experienced you are, and probably the faster recognition and such, and also some of the brain activities that you might see, which I'm not familiar with. But the second part of this question is how transferable these results are to the real life construction sites.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your questions. So the first thing, how to control the VR environment in our experiment. We actually set up the VR scenario just based on our observation and also some advice from the workers. So like similarly, we just set up the hazard randomly locate in the VR scenario.
That's not my question. My question is experience level of the participants in terms of gaming or VR.
Using VR.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for question. So because we recruit the participant of the student, and of course we maybe did not have so many detailed questions regarding their VR experience and also the kind of other related thing. But based on my previous experiments, I collect the data regarding their VR experiment, but it shows that they actually did not have much difference when they come to the neural activation. Like I think the VR experience may have more impact on the presence of the VR environment, but they did not influence their brain activation in the VR environment. Yeah. And for your second question, thank you. Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you for a question. I think the experiment conducted in our domain, this is a really very common question for us. But regarding, we find some insight from this experiment with students. So I think in the future, if we recruit some participants from the construction side, I think we can see some similar patterns based on this result. So of course, now we cannot say that okay, this is truly the same as the experienced worker. But I strongly believe that since we have students and they have experience, they have this kind of pattern, I think in the worker, they may have more significant different results compared to the student.
Yeah, exactly. Trade workers might respond differently to students.
Yeah, I agree with it. So, so I think the next step for our research, I think it would be great to recruit the real worker to collect the data. So, because this is kind of the preliminary study, we would like to see, does it have any insight between this comparison? If it has some insight, okay, we can go further. So I think it would be the next step. Thank you.
That sounds reasonable.